This test is called the serial position effect test. For this test, you will need a pencil, a piece of paper, and a calculator. I'm just going to use my phone. So pause the video, gather all of the materials you need, and we will begin. All you need to do is listen to the words I'm about to read you. And as you're listening, your job is to try to remember as many as you can. You don't need to use any of your materials just yet. All right, the first word, cat, apple, ball, tree, square, head, house, door, box, car, king, hammer, milk, fish, book, tape, flower, arrow, key, shoe. Now I want you to take your materials and write down as many of the words as you can remember. Do not go back and replay the video of me reading the list of words. That defeats the purpose. Now let's see how many of the words you accurately wrote down. Here's the list. Count up how many words you were able to correctly list. And we'll determine what percent of the words we recalled. So take the total number of words you wrote down correctly, so in my case, 5, and then divide that by the total number of words listed. There were 20 words listed. So in my case, 5 divided by 20 is 0.25, which is 25%. So I was able to recall 25% of the words. Likely that you did not remember 100% of these words. And that's because there were just way too many words for us to remember. In general, people are more likely to remember words at the beginning and the end of the list, but less likely to remember the words in the middle, a pattern known as serial position effect. The words at the end of the list are still stored in the brain's short-term memory. The words at the beginning of the list have been rehearsed long enough to have entered long-term memory. We tend to forget words in the middle of the list because of displacement. They are forced out of our short-term memory as new words are said, but they haven't been in the memory long enough to be converted into long-term memory. Now we're going to make the challenge a little bit harder. I'm going to read a separate set of words, and again, without using any materials, I just want you to listen and try to remember as many words as you can. Ready? Mind, lawn, length, palace, knowledge, broom, series, flood, jelly, pudding, joke, contest, girl, winter, square, bat, robot, sock, pizza, truck. Okay, now I want you to pause the video, get your materials, and write down as many words as you can remember from that list that I just read. Again, Do not go back and replay the list. That defeats the purpose. Now, take a look at this second list of words and compare it with the words that you wrote down. How many words did you correctly list? Now we want to determine the percent of the words we recalled again. So that means that you are taking the total number of words you wrote down. You're dividing that by the total number of words listed, which was 20. So in my case, I correctly wrote down 3 words out of 20, which is 15%. Now let's compare that to the first time we did this. The first time I correctly recalled 25% of the words. This time I recalled 15% of the words. That means I did 10% worse when I had that extra task. So you may be wondering why I'm having you do these strange tasks. I wanted you to try multitasking. So in this case, we were switching back and forth from one thing to another, and we were performing a number of tasks in rapid succession. Productivity can be reduced by as much as 40% by mental blocks created when we multitask. Usually people multitask because they want to get a lot of things done in a short period of time, but it actually makes us less productive. In this case, up to 40% less productive. So take a look at the results from your multitasking experiment. See how much less productive you were from one activity that you were multitasking to the next. And think about times in your remote learning when you may have been multitasking. Think, have you ever been in the middle of a Zoom meeting and shifted your focus to a tab that on your computer that wasn't related to what the teacher was talking about? Have you ever used your phone, even just for a quick second, in the middle of a Zoom meeting? Think about some of the ways that you may have been multitasking, especially during remote learning. Usually people multitask because they want to get a lot of things done at once, but really multitasking makes us 40% less productive.